So this is my new friend Stephen Brown, who I developed kind of a long distance relationship with from the United States as he and his wife Anna Marie moved to Ecuador. And he's a really fascinating guy, and I enjoy being around him, and we have a lot of the same hobbies and a lot of the same interests. So he was gracious enough to allow me to come over today to learn some of his cooking techniques. So we're making some bread today, and Stephen, we were talking a little bit about the difference between people who see cooking as kind of a chore and kind of a burden versus those of us who see it as a joy. I mean, tell me about that for you.
Yeah. Well, for me, the cooking is something different to what I do day to day. So to me, I see it as something different than a chore. I can easily see that if you were cooking every day as a profession or out of need, that it would become a chore. But for me, doing a job that's kind of high pressure, stressful, having an outlet that's completely different to what you do day to day is something that's actually de-stressing, and it's not. You're not doing it because you have to. You're not doing it because you have to feed people. You're doing it because you just enjoy doing it, and it gives you it's an outlet for pressure. It's a relaxing thing. It takes you. It's like when you're doing the cooking, everything else in your life kind of goes to the side, and you're focused on this. And it really does give you a fresh mind and a clear mind, and removes everything else out of your mind. It's just very relaxing.
So when you come from the UK by way of Montreal to Ecuador, cooking here does not come without its challenges, right?
No, it's very different because you get so used to in North America and the UK, you're in your kitchen and you have a whim to make something. I jump in a car, in 5 minutes you're in a store, you're fully stocked shelves, anything that you want you can get. Here it's very different. You know, you're in a small town, so very basic supplies. You're in a different country, so you don't have familiar things around you. Different language, so things are identified different. And the major city is an hour and a quarter away, so you have to learn to improvise. You have to learn how to use things natural. You know, opening cans, packets. It's very different challenge.
You don't just run down to the 7-Eleven, do you?
No, that's for sure. Sometimes it's frustrating, but you learn, oh, you know, how can I substitute this? Oh, it says I need baking soda. Oh, I don't have any. What can I use to substitute? Lots of little things like that where you have to think on the spot, or it's not always on the spot. Sometimes the hammock is a good place to think about these things.
The hammock solves a lot of the world's problems, doesn't it?
It's the savior. Sitting in a hammock, you can solve the world's problems. No problem.
So by profession, you're a scientist. You're a metallurgist.
Yes.
In the study of metals and the chemical properties and the material science. And I mean, I call you the Heisenberg of cooking because seriously, you understand the properties of chemical reaction and how things come together. Talk just for a moment about, you know, how that understanding is applicable to cooking.
It's just like in my profession. In your education, you're given the fundamentals of why things work the way they do, how things work the way they do, so that when you go into the real world, you're able to understand the fundamentals behind some of the things that you deal with. And then, once you have that basic information, you're able to make decisions. You're able to make judgments on what's important, what's not so important, what can I change, what I must do, because you understand the science and some of the basic principles behind it. So it really is a good enabler for you to be able to experiment, understanding fundamentals. You know the reason why things are done that way. You know the reason why things work that way, so you can adapt it. So it's really useful. It's very useful. Yes, but not essential.
Of course.
Not essential. It just makes. I guess it adds a bit to it.
There are no real rules in cooking, right?
No rules. No. Except clean up after, or you're going to be in shit with the wife.
Yeah.
That's the only rule.
So, as we alluded to just a moment ago, you and your wife Anna Marie are, you're professional folks. You came from the UK, then you guys met in Montreal, Canada. And you came here. I mean, you found a way
Yeah.
that retirement could happen early,
Yes.
which was a real thrill for both of you, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
But it's an extraordinarily different way of life here.
It is,
as
very.
opposed to how retirement might be in Montreal or Denver or,
Yeah.
or New Orleans or wherever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell me 2 or 3 keys to successful adjustment to life here in Ecuador.
I think adaptability. I think patience, understanding, an open mind. To me, and I got a little bit of practice when I moved from the UK to Canada. It doesn't sound like a big move, but it is. It was French-Canadian Canada, so it was a big cultural change for me. And for me, the first move was tricky because it was hard to accept you go to the bank in England and it happens this way. I go to the bank in Montreal. It's completely different. I have to learn to accept and understand and to work with it. So when I came here, I already had those seeds sown, except it's more extreme here. And here you have to be patient. You have to realize that you're a visitor here. Things don't happen the way they happen back in Canada or back